As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a...
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
BravBros.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BravBros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined, as always, by the one and only Shooter Magooter. Shoots, what's up, dude?
Long week.
I'm exhausted.
We were just sitting here as we usually do, just trying to go through the things that we want to talk about, and you just keep coming back to the news. And there's only really one piece of news. There's only one like prominent figure in my head right now when it comes to Bravo, and it's all about Vanderpump. Like I can't even focus on anything else. I was watching the shows this week, and I'm like, does any of this matter?
That honestly,
Like really?
like that, I had the same exact reaction. And like tonight, we were watching Vanderpump, obviously, and I didn't care. Because I'm like, I know that there's more here. And like, obviously, it's fun to kind of, and I use fun lightly, but to kind of look for hints or signs and things like that. But at the same time, I'm like, all of this it means nothing.
It's really hard to watch that show objectively. Like whenever, even with Tom on screen talking about how him and Ariana's dog is like about to be put down, you don't even feel bad for Tom.
No,
Like you're just like, I don't fucking care, dude.
I don't care about your feelings, Tom.
Yeah.
I feel even worse for Ariana. I was like, oh my God, like she lost everything this year.
Now you gotta wonder, like, obviously we heard the Bravo was going back and they were going to change a couple things. They were going to edit it differently. Did it start with this episode, do you think, or like where are we at?
Yeah, I guarantee that they went back. So when I talked to our insider from Vanderpump, most of the episodes aren't completed until like 2 or 3 days before they air.
Okay.
So they're always being edited.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that they had to revamp the entire season only because if you go for like a sentimental storyline with Sandoval, it's going to fall short because no one's going to give a fuck. And I'm sure that they were probably trying to tie in Schwartz and Sandy's more.
Probably. And they were probably going to really like expose the whole Schwartz and Raquel thing, which nobody cares about anymore.
Because it's irrelevant, because it may have not even happened.
Yeah.
It might have been a ruse to take the heat off of Sandoval. And we're going to get into all of this. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
It's just, I mean, this is really just like what's on our minds. Like usually we start this off with a nice cold opening, a nice riff about how our week is going. But for the first time, honestly, since we started this podcast, our week has been completely smothered by
consumed.
this news.
Consumed.
Yeah.
I texted you today and I was like, dude, how is it fucking Wednesday? I feel like I lost days. I was like, it was Friday yesterday. It should be Saturday, but it's Wednesday. And the fact that Bravo has consumed my life to that point because of fucking Sandoval and Rachel. Let's use her real name, by the way. This is a Rachel only podcast.
Oh, yeah. For those of you that were on our live on Monday night, was it Monday night? I don't know. Monday night, Tuesday night, who knows? Whatever night it was, we decided Rachel only from here on out. I was even throwing in a couple other government names, and I might get there.
Yeah,
I mean,
we might.
I've calmed down a little bit. I'm all right now, but on Monday, tensions were running high. I was angry at everybody. Anyone who was just talking the wrong way or putting things out that was on the show, like Sheena, Lala, whoever else, I was like, I don't want to hear from you. Whatever you're saying is just complete bullshit right now. We need to hear from the people that are involved, and we have answers that we need. And we're seemingly getting things day by day, but I feel like it's just going to be drawn out.
Well, that's what's annoying is like as soon as I feel like I have a grasp on the situation, they drop another bomb and I'm like, fuck, dude, I can't keep up with all this stuff. And then I've got like 15 people texting me.
Yep.
I've got another 300 people messaging us with new shit every day. And that's what's crazy. And like, I know how we can start this off. All right. This is how we're going to start this episode off.
All right.
Let's discuss my post on Instagram.
Oh, see, that's the thing is like,
You forgot,
I
right?
thought that was last week.
I thought that was last year.
Yeah.
That was like 3 days ago. So for those of you that follow us on Instagram, and this is a good chance to plug our Instagram, we got to get better at plugging things. So
Yep.
let's do that. Let's do a quick plug.
Yep.
Follow us on Instagram at Brav_Bros, Twitter, Brav_Bros, TikTok, BravBros, YouTube, BravBros Podcast. Follow all of them, please. We'd really appreciate it.
Not only that, but we're on Cameo. So if you want to hear more of our thoughts or you just want to have us wish you a happy birthday, we're here.
Yeah, we're here. Find us on Cameo. And the last thing, we have a live show coming up in Philly, City Winery, April 27th with Zach Peter. We got some Bravo Lebs coming out. It's going to be a fun night. If you get VIP for $29, which isn't bad, you can come hang out with us before the show.
Yep.
Show will be like an hour, hour and a half. It's going to be a good time. You get some drinks. They serve good food there. It's a cool venue. It's like you sit at an actual table. You get served dinner. You get served drinks. We're going to shoot the shit. Might yell at you a little bit.
Yeah, we're definitely going to yell at you a little bit. You know how
Only
it goes.
because we love you.
Yeah, and we were, like, I was talking to Colleen about it today. Obviously, Steele and I talked about it. We're going to have good fits going on that day. We got to start thinking about that. And Colleen was talking about, like, what's the right amount of beers that I can have before the show?
Ooh,
and then thereafter.
can I play?
Yeah, you can play. Yeah.
Okay, let me play. I'm going to put the over-under.
For before.
Yeah, the pre.
Okay, yeah.
Over-under at 6.
All
I'm going to take... I'm going to take the over at 6.5.
Okay.
I think you're going to have your...
But yeah, there's going to be nervous drinks. Like, this is the thing, is when you listen to us, and we've done something live before, and it wasn't really what we expected, but we didn't really know what to expect. Now we kind of know what we're doing, and we know what to expect. So there will be a couple of nervous beers in there, of course, so you got to, account for that. But, curveball, I'm flying out Friday morning to go on a golf trip down to South Carolina. So do I really want to be on the plane hungover? I think it might be inevitable.
No, you don't, but you're going to be.
I know.
That's a better bet than how many beers you're going to have. I guarantee you will be hungover for that flight.
I will definitely be hungover.
Because if you think we're not going to hang out afterwards and I'm not going to force feed you drinks to celebrate, you're nuts.
Yep. So come out, support the boys, have a good time.
April 27th.
And make
City
me miserable
Winery.
for the first round of golf on Friday afternoon.
Yeah. But what was, I don't even know what the Instagram post.
Yeah.
So, Patrick Summers went on, and if you don't know who Patrick Summers is, a lot of people forgot about him, which is good, and continue to forget about him because he's an asshole and an idiot. But this guy is the guy that was caught up in the Beverly Hills drama. He claimed that he hooked up with Harry Hamlin, like 6 months ago, I guess that was, something like that, and like drew out this long bullshit lie about having sex with Brenna's husband. And it was...
He also said that he knew specifically what Kathy Hilton said in Aspen.
Yeah, he was
just mixed up in all of that. And it was all lies. It was just him trying to, I guess, drum up some sort of interest in whatever the hell he's doing. I don't think he has a podcast or anything. And if he does, nobody listens because it's all lies. So this guy pops his fucking ugly head back up. And here we go.
And so he makes another post. And of course, my phone is literally, I think my screen time was up 80% this week. And I'm looking through and someone sends me this. Another person sends this. Then it pops up on my feed. Patrick Summers is joined the party. He posts something claiming to have a conversation between him and Sandoval. It was an Instagram direct message, and it was him pretty much saying, like, you hooked up with my friend Julia. He mentioned something about an abortion. He threw homophobic slurs in there. Like, it was a lot of really fucked up stuff. And allegedly, Tom was replying to him.
Mm-hmm.
To prove a point, I went on Photoshop Express on my phone while sitting in the parking lot at Giant. Okay, I was shopping for a dinner I have next week. Sitting there on my fucking phone. And I screenshot it and I Photoshop it to make it sound like he was disparaging you and I. Like you got defensive because for those of you that have listened for a while, I used to be a Tom supporter. And by Tom, I mean Tom's plural. I have since changed that stance. Unfortunately, I was forced to because they suck balls. But I made it seem as though Shooter was defending my honor. Yep. It was quite clearly satire.
It was quite clearly a very bad Photoshop.
It was a very bad
Like,
Photoshop.
you made it a point to not try to make it look
real,
professional, or real in any way, shape, or form. Like, it was very clearly Photoshopped. And so many people were confused.
I lit the Bravo Twitter sphere, Instagram on fire unintentionally because people started retweeting it. They started posting it. They're like, this guy's full of shit. And they're commenting on it saying, how could you guys fall for this? And I'm like, did you read it? And as soon as I said that, multiple people at the very least were commenting back like, wow, my bad.
Yeah,
totally missed
disregard my first comment.
Yeah,
like,
over
didn't
my
delete
head.
their comment, but just like, my bad. Completely missed that one.
I unintentionally did a great troll job, which I've never done, and it was wildly entertaining.
Yeah, no, that was the most fun that I've had in a while, especially in this type of situation where we're just like, what the hell? Like, does any other recap for any other show that's going on? Like, Miami had their season finale. Potomac's reunion is over. Like, all these things that we're usually, like, kind of keen on making sure that we're paying attention to. This just took over everything else. And in that moment, with the fake screenshot, there was so much fun to be had.
There was a ton of fun, and we were just sending our favorite comments back and forth to each other. It was a good time. So thank you for that. Let me reiterate, it was not real. It wasn't supposed to look real. It was to prove a point that we shouldn't fall for Patrick Summers shit, because this is how easy it is. I can do it in the parking lot at a grocery store, and you think it's real.
I think you indirectly proved how easy it is for people to believe that type of shit, too.
Yeah, that too.
Like, you didn't even try, and people believe that, and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I thought it was Julia. Who the hell is Steele?
They literally said
wait. You follow us on Instagram.
That
You
was
don't
the
know
best
who
part.
Steele is?
But
Like,
that was the funniest, dude, because when they said that, I was like, do you listen to the podcast? They're like, oh, Steele. Oh, Shooter. Like, have you ever met another Steele or Shooter?
well, there was that one guy a couple weeks ago that was like, I just don't understand how you guys chastise your audience for, like, your listeners every week, and it's getting really bad. And it was around the time that we were making fun of the 49ers fans or whatever. This is one of those moments where I'm like, you guys, like, come on. You got to be brighter than this, please.
But that being said, we love you to pieces.
Yeah, we do love you, you
We
little
love you
idiots.
so much. But that's a great segue into our Rose and Thorn for the week. I'm going to let you go first. You kick us off.
Yeah, so
Hold on. You realize that your forehead says Tom Tom, right?
Yeah, does it actually?
Just saying.
It says it in black. I don't think anybody's going to see it.
Now
Now everybody knows.
you want to take that gamble.
That's actually a really good segue into my Thorn.
Let's hear it.
So, for those of you who were listening in the last couple of weeks before this news broke, we were really excited to get new Tom Tom hats.
Yeah.
Very, very excited, right?
So excited.
And then after all of this dropped and we put the screenshot up there and we were obviously like having some fun with the situation, What Am I Doing 77 messaged us and said, excited for the Tom Tom hats, crying emoji. Like, fuck.
Well played.
They are really cool hats and we're like, damn it.
They are. They're sick, and we cannot wear them.
Well, I'm wearing it right now, but
He's wearing his right now, but only because the front says West Hollywood, and it's a dope hat. It is a really cool hat.
it's a really cool hat. I really like it.
It's unfortunate.
It is. It really is. So yeah, that's my rose. We didn't really have, like, with everything that was going on, we didn't have a whole lot of content out there. There was kind of a dry week last week. So for my rose,
You just did your rose.
no, that was
your
my thorn.
Oh, you said that was your rose. Okay.
Did I?
Yeah.
That was my thorn. Whatever. For my rose is everybody who has dropped in and went to our live on Monday night, just having a great time. It was a full party. Like, obviously, we were spilling some tea.
Yeah, we were.
As we haven't really done in the past.
No, we'll respill it
having a good
tonight
time.
for our listeners.
Yeah,
don't worry.
exactly. But there was like 600, 650 people just hanging out with us for an hour, and that's, kind of cool to see. Usually, you don't know what to expect when you go into one of those things. Like, we haven't done it before. So this pops off, and I'm like, all right, yeah, we might get like a couple hundred people, and it goes up to like 500, stays well above 5, 6. A lot of people commenting, a lot of engagement back and forth. People are having a good time. So that's what I like to see, and that's why we love your listeners.
Yeah, we really do, and we like to give you guys some shit because we think it's funny, but we do love you guys, and I want to mirror that. I have my own rose and thorn, but just to speak on that, somebody commented, I think it was my rose last week or your rose, about feeling like they're friends with us. And I like that. I like when people think like they can connect with us on that level. So when we had the live, I think at least I was a little hesitant to do it, just a live in general, because I'm like, well, what if no one like shows up? That would suck. But like he said, I mean, we had a peak, I think, like high 600s. We like total was like 1,200 people. So it was awesome to just like talk to you guys. And like, we brought people onto the live. I thought that was awesome. It was just a really cool experience for us. Like, we're still new to a lot of this shit. So like, I don't think we'll ever not be grateful, but it's just cool. We love you guys. Keep
Yeah, I especially like the point where the one girl from Australia chimed in and she was talking and she's like, it won't let me leave.
Yeah, I didn't know how to kick them out.
We didn't know what the fuck to do.
It's like, you
She's
might,
like, I don't know what to do. She's like, I'm just going to leave and come back. We're like, all right, cool.
yeah, you might be stuck with us for the rest of the broadcast, but
New BravBro.
welcome. But to my rose and thorn. For my thorn, I'm going to start with a thorn because I like to bring it back with the rose. But I forget about YouTube now, and we got a ton of views on the Chris thing.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of comments, and I haven't gone down that rabbit hole before. I don't know what to expect from YouTube commenters. I kind of know how Twitter shakes out versus Instagram versus TikTok. Like they're all different levels of mean, and Instagram tends to be nicer.
Yeah.
Twitter tends to be meaner. TikTok is kind of in between.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
YouTube, I don't know what to expect, but I got one comment and I texted you about it. I texted that. This one hit me under my skin like bad. It really fucking pissed me off. I don't know if it was because I was already aggravated from all the drama going on. I don't know what it was, but it really got under my skin. I'm not going to read her name, but it says, it's from the Chris interview. It says, listen, when any woman says she's uncomfortable, that is enough. 100% correct. She never said he did anything to her. Chris is a drunk, all caps. His life took a turn, and it's his fault. Stop drinking. He's a typical alcoholic that does things, sobers up, and plays innocent. Go back and look. He was drunk or had a lot to drink that day. Like, reading that makes me fucking mad.
Yeah, no, that's you always hate when somebody throws out the alcoholic thing, and there's no real substance behind it either. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, if you have a bone to pick with somebody, just use their actions against them. Don't like make up a story that wants to fit your narrative.
No, it drives me crazy. And then it's such an easy cop out for people. And I see this shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's acting a certain way, if they're drinking too much one night, or if you've seen them drunk a couple times, or if they're acting erratic, oh, he's a drug addict, oh, he's an alcoholic, he's a drunk, he's disgusting. Just stop drinking. If it was that fucking easy, there wouldn't be that many people with drinking problems.
Yeah.
If it was that fucking easy, I wouldn't have almost died from cirrhosis at 27 years old if I could just stop drinking. So for any of you out there that think it's fucking funny or think it's a good way to kind of like throw a dig at somebody, well, he's a drunk, just know that I work my fucking ass off every day for this shit. And seeing stuff like that really, really sucks.
Yeah, no, that's brutal to even say.
I don't want to get all heated, but I was really
Yeah, no,
pissed
you
about
got that. Yeah, and rightfully so.
But luckily, another one of our listeners kind of saved me from like being super fucking mad about this, because they sent a really, really nice message to us. And I'm going to read the whole thing because I thought it was really sweet. And this comes from Sammy. Oh, fuck.
Here we go.
Sam Ray Pat. And it says, just started binging your podcast. We love to be binged. And first of all, I wanted to say I love your takes as someone who has been obsessed with Bravo forever. Second of all, I wanted to say thank you to Steele for being open and honest and having conversations about addiction and getting sober. I am just shy of a year sober, and your willingness to talk about sobriety in such a positive way is really uplifting. Your comments about the Potomac women basically shaming Karen going to rehab were spot on, and my exact feelings when I watched that episode. It may seem small, but you made an impact on me, and I'm sure many others. Keep it up. Y'all are great. And that made me get emotional because, like, that means, damn it, that means way more to me than I think anyone knows when they just mention their own journey. And for you, Sam Ray Pat, just shy of a year is fucking incredible. So keep it up. That's awesome. Thank you for those kind words. You literally pulled me out from a hole with the first comment. You can ask Shooter, like, I was livid. But I did the Chris Bassett technique. I wrote out a whole response and I sent it to Shooter. And I was like, I really want to fucking send this. I'm not going to, but like, here, this is what I wanted to say. And it did. It helped. It actually helped. I was able to move past it, but didn't mean to bring it all like, serious there. Let's get back to the, actually, you know what? This is kind of how the episode is, thanks to Tom and Rachel. So fuck it. Let's just keep rolling. That takes us to the news. And I think first and foremost, we got to congratulate our crew from the southernmost point in the United States. Miami got renewed for another season.
Hell yeah. I'm
pumped. I loved watching Miami. There was a couple things that irritated me, but that's with any of these shows.
Yeah,
of course.
And that's true. I think there was... Look, I mean, it went on a pretty long hiatus. I guess it was necessary at the time. We weren't watching it live, but we kind of know what happened. And watching it now, I mean, it was sort of like a breath of fresh air when it came on, when we started watching it. It's always nice to get introduced to new people and, like, we get to understand how dynamics work and everything. And there was really nothing, like, one big drawback where you're like, all right, this needs to go away. Everything kind of resolved itself towards the end, and I feel like everybody's dynamics and relationships kind of help push the narrative forward instead of getting stuck in the mud, which is good for these shows. And I'm happy. I mean, I'm excited for another season. I want to see where Lisa and Lenny end up because the end of this one was crazy. And the rest of them, like, obviously Marysol can go somewhere, but the rest of them, I'm excited to see what happens with them.
I am too. I'll give them all another shot. Marysol can kick rocks. I thought it was kind of the nail in the coffin for me. This most recent the season finale. That's what did me in. But we'll get to Miami in a little bit. Up next, and this is just so in tune with what we're talking about, but news coming out from Southern Charm.
Oh, yeah.
Southern Charm. Your boy, Austin.
Oh, God. The Honda Civic.
The Honda Civic of dudes is back Honda Civicing and apparently hooked up with Taylor.
Which we called.
We did. We called
a long time ago.
Shooter, I believe, was the first one to make the claim. Credit where credit's due, sir. We called this, I want to say within the first 3 episodes of Southern Charm.
Yeah, it was right around the time when Austin was referring to Taylor as his little sister, and he's like, I just feel so close to her. It's like, all right, dude.
A little weird. A little sketchy. And look, we were right. So, with that being said, not surprised at all. They do weirdly make sense to me. I don't know how you feel about it.
No, I don't feel that way. It's one of those things where, like, yeah, we said it made sense. Yeah, we said that it could happen. But in the back of your mind, you're like, I hope this doesn't happen because it's just such a shitty situation. Like, yeah, was Shep and Taylor's relationship terrible? It was. Austin is friends with Shep and their friendship and then Craig in the middle. Like, none of that really makes a whole lot of sense, but they are friends, I guess, to an extent. So for this to happen, it's just shitty and it doesn't make anybody feel good. Like, I don't care, and we can get into it with Rachel and Sandoval later, but I don't care if Austin and Taylor are in love and it's great. Like, how this started is shitty.
Yeah.
So that's always just going to be following you like a shitty rain cloud for the rest of your relationship.
A shit cloud?
A shit cloud just hanging out behind you. Like, it stinks, it poops on you, and it's gross. And nobody wants to watch it, and everybody's going to have to feel some type of way about it moving forward. That being said, it's going to be interesting TV, and maybe we get like an Austin Shep fight or something. Like,
no way, dude.
No, I don't think so either.
Shep would never.
I can see Shep being like, you know what? Like, it kind of hurts a little bit, but if Taylor's happy, then I'm happy, dude. And like, if she makes you happy, then that's okay with me. She's a great girl. You're a great friend. And then Shep goes and gets drunk and like tries to hook up with an 18-year-old girl or something.
More than
that's
likely.
Probably what's going to happen.
That probably already happened. I think it's going to make for a really interesting season. I think, of all people, like you said, Shep's probably going to move past this one pretty quick. I think it's going to be a quick brush off, move on to the next one. I don't think he was emotionally invested enough to really give a fuck. I think he wanted to pretend he was, but I really don't. I think that'll be the perfect way to see how Shep operates is how little he's going to care.
Exactly.
That's what I think. I think he might have an outburst. There's going to be a big hullabaloo, if you will, about the initial reaction. I think that he eases off within 3 or 4 days after.
I could see the funny thing is I could see Olivia being more angry about it than Shep.
Yeah, honestly.
And Olivia's emotions will be real and true, and you'll be like, all right, yeah, like I get it, Olivia. And then Shep will start talking and be like, I don't think you feel anything.
Exactly.
And it just justifies all the conversations that we had about Shep and Taylor last year. So
100%.
Fuck it.
But look, that's a great transition into VPR. Let's get to Vanderpump because that's why you're all here. Let's not beat around the bush. We know why you came out to listen to this episode.
Yep.
It's the only thing going on. Shit. So I'm going to start this out. We're going to recap, as much as we can. We're probably going to get derailed and talk about the real Vanderpump news of the week. I don't think the episode really matters to anybody.
No.
It didn't matter to me. All I was looking for was hints. I guess James's storyline was still interesting to me. I just think he's so good for TV, so I'm still captivated by that. But let's start out with, I want to give you guys, our listeners, the inside scoop because a lot of you weren't there for the live, obviously, and I had the chance to sit down with an insider from the show, and he works in a specific area of the show. I'm not going to give too many details because I want to keep him safe. I don't want to divulge.
Safe and protected.
Yeah. Our people. But let's start out with the first thing that was dropped. And this is a very serious allegation, and it's something that I'm simply relaying. I'm not saying that this is what was going on. I'm saying this is what was told to me by a friend of all of the people in the group. They say that this whole thing started around the party scene.
Yep.
So apparently these two like to party a little bit. They like to do some drugs. They were doing it together. I think that's what began the initial infatuation. That's at least what this person was saying. That like that seemed to be their connection out of the gate. They like to do it more than other people.
Right.
And they seem to kind of lean on each other. And this seems to have blossomed from that. So again, am I saying that they're drug addicts? Absolutely not.
No.
Not at all. I'm saying
saying that they found a common interest.
Exactly. They found a common interest in the party scene, and that's how this started. Now, moving on to the next little tidbit of news, and this one you got a kick out of, and this is going to sidetrack us a little bit, but Greg, confirmed douchebag. This person worked closely with Greg and had nothing but horrible, horrible things to say about that fedora-wearing fuck. So, vindication there. Greg is actually an asshole.
Yeah, and he's still around. I thought it was really funny that he was taking over the social media aspect.
He was doing a terrible job.
Doing an absolutely terrible job, just completely throwing everybody under the bus, talking about how we've got other people that work here that don't really care about the show. They care about their livelihood. It's like, shut the fuck up, Greg. Like, if you really felt like that, you wouldn't be on the show.
Right, Greg.
You want your couple seconds of fame with your dumbass fedora, and you want to talk about business, but really say absolutely nothing, and then get undermined by Lisa and Ken in this episode.
Yeah, I love watching
saying
that.
Like, hey, Greg doesn't have any skin in the game. You're paying rent. He's got no money invested in when this opens, because as far as everything's concerned with him, he's good. He's getting his money for the lease. He's fine. There's no issues on Greg's part. He's a great restaurateur, whatever fucking bullshit. Let the guys open. I don't care about them as, individuals, but overall, if they're losing money by spending on this and you're sitting there saying like, no, you're not ready, but you're not losing any money, then you don't get a say in this. So you suck at business. I don't care what Lisa says if you're a good person or whatever.
I think she was trying to save face there and try to be like, look, I'm not going to drag this guy professionally on a public forum.
I think once you sign that waiver and you go on the show, you're open. And
I agree.
Can get ripped.
No, I agree. Yeah. But LVP don't roll that way.
Nah, she doesn't.
She's smarter with
classier than we are.
She's way classier than we are, but she doesn't roll that way. So she didn't throw him under the bus, but our insider did. She said that he's sketchy, that he is 100% delaying the opening intentionally.
Yep.
They could have opened months ago. They could have opened like 5 months before they actually opened, and it was 100% Greg, because every time anybody went to him to try to push the opening, he was like, nope. Second thing with the restaurant, Scandoval wasn't there. He was never fucking there.
Which we kind of knew.
Yeah, but to the point where in the show they paint it like, oh, you had your like little 3-month hiatus because of your quote unquote band.
Mm-hmm.
No. It was like the entirety of the opening, Scandoval was MIA.
Yeah.
And clearly now we can see why. He's living a double life. He thinks he's a fucking rock star because he's playing clubs of like 100 people in Agora Hills.
Mm-hmm.
Like this whole thing, and I'll drop some insider knowledge as we go, but we got to get into it. What this whole thing's done for me personally, I need to go back and rewatch every single episode that Rachel was ever in.
Yeah.
Because what we don't realize, or what I didn't realize, is when Raquel is doing all this nonsense, right? We always think that she's just this sweet, innocent, doesn't really know what she's doing. She's got caught up in the LA life. Like, that's not it at all. She's been calculated the whole fucking time. We just didn't see it because James Kennedy was in the way.
Yep.
He had this big, loud person in front of her, so she didn't have to like be in the limelight. Meanwhile, she's setting up chess pieces. Everyone else is playing checkers. Raquel was playing chess, and we all fell for it because she acts like this doughy-eyed, innocent person. She's not. She's conniving as shit. And you rewatch that scene where she sits with Ariana and she sits with Katie at that lunch, it becomes so apparent when she throws that out there. That's not her being dumb.
Yeah.
That's her throwing a jab. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's like, I got a leg up on you.
And it sucks because you see Ariana in that moment. She says, am I really going to be mad at Rachel right now? Like, is this the first time I'm actually going to be mad at her for something?
Yeah.
Little did she know, like, yeah.
Yeah, you're about to
This
be
is
fucking
this
livid.
is this is Rachel trying to throw a little smokescreen out there
Yep.
about her and Schwartz to take the heat off of everything. And you got to assume, like, And we talked about it on our live because we saw, pictures from, I think it was Sunday night, of Sandoval going over to Rachel's house. And it's like, what are they doing? Like, are they like in love and they just can't stop like hanging out together? Like, no, I think that they're getting their story straight. I think they're strategizing for how they want to look and how they want to be portrayed on TV because they know it's going to be terrible.
Oh, yeah.
But if they can try to lessen the blow a little bit in their egotistical minds, they can try to, I guess, come out of this looking rosy at some point in time. And you got to wonder, like, how much is Sandoval involved in this? Like, how much behind the scenes has he been like, all right, like, we've been having this go on for a couple of months. Nobody suspects anything. Maybe this is a good time for you to like kind of throw this out there about Schwartz and like throw people off the trail. Like start saying that you want to hook up with anybody because for the last 3 episodes, we've seen Rachel talk to other people and say, I just want to make out with someone. Like she seems like this girl who's so desperate for human contact because she hasn't gotten any since James. And she's like, I'm not really ready to like have sex with somebody. Like that's because you're having sex with Sandy behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not ready to hook up with anybody. I just want to make out with someone, like, real quick. It's like, no, you want to make out with somebody real quick to throw them off your scent, which, honestly, no one was even on the scent. No one knew until this bomb dropped. And, like, yeah, maybe Ariana knew in some capacity, but what is she going to do? Is she going to blow it up on the show when she doesn't really have any hard proof and she just thinks, like, no, she finds that video, sends it over to Sheena, sends it over to Rachel, and then the whole thing just fucking unravels. And it's like... It's so tough to watch this show now, and I said it in the beginning, because everything that Tom says, everything that Rachel says, everything that anybody says, you got to think right away, like, do they know?
Do they know? Oh, Christina Kelly knows.
Yeah.
She had to have. The way that she was talking about that, and I'm curious when that confessional was filmed that she had.
I thought that too. I was like, is this that was the first indication to me that Bravo changed the editing.
Yes.
I think they threw her in there and they weren't originally planning on having her. Now, obviously, they filmed a bunch of confessionals, but I didn't think they had her in the original game plan.
I don't know. Maybe because it was the Vegas trip and she was there, they had a couple loaded up. But I don't know. That could have been a much further down the road, like a hindsight confessional. I don't know. Which I hope it wasn't. I hope that was genuine because her saying that, I was like, I got like goosebumps. I was like, damn.
I don't think it was, honestly, because I feel like they filmed all those confessionals at the same time. Like, I don't think they had. They just started filming more confessionals yesterday or the day before.
Okay.
Because James Kennedy, I saw the take. What do you call those things with the white and black?
The Clapperjawn?
Clapperjawn, yeah.
We'll call it a Clapperjawn.
Yeah, we'll call it a Clapperjawn.
It said Scandoval.
Scandoval number 1.
They're
so,
really
like,
leaning into
it seems like they're going to go right into James and they're going to have everybody else film. So, I mean, that's going to be electric when that happens towards the end of the season.
It's going to be one of the most watched, one of the most tumultuous reunions in the history of Bravo because this is so fresh. It's so fresh, and you're going to stick these people in a room together. Like, I don't know how it doesn't come to blows, and that's another thing for all of those people out there that thought Sheena punched Rachel.
Yep. Didn't happen.
Did not happen. So our insider, again, knows exactly what happened. The whole thing shook out like this. During Tom's show on a Wednesday night, Ariana goes through his phone, finds that FaceTime between him and Rachel, sees the whole thing, immediately sends it to both Sheena and Rachel, who are at Watch What Happens Live in the green room. They get it simultaneously. Sheena did not punch her.
Mm-hmm.
Some stuff might have happened. There was no punches thrown. I do want to clarify, she did not close her fist and punch her in the face. A lot of people took that when I did that on the live we did, like, oh, she slapped her. I'm not saying that either. I'm saying that she reacted, but she did not punch.
Right. And there were pictures floating around there of Rachel saying that she had a black eye or whatever. Supposedly that was debunked already, too, because those pictures were taken before Watch What Happens Live, so before she put makeup on.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so maybe she had, like, allergies or something.
Don't go after the Bravo
It's
sleuths.
just so, we talk about it all the time.
Don't do it.
The sleuths will find all of the answers.
They will win.
It is just not smart. Just don't lie about things like that to try to play the victim or whatever the hell you're going to do, and then fire your PR team afterwards because you don't want to play the victim. But in reality, they probably ran through everything. They're like, there's no way, shape, in hell that we can make you look like a victim in this situation.
First of all, I love
you are out.
The term "no way, shape, in hell."
Yeah, I don't know what I was going for.
No way, shape, or form, or no way in hell.
Yeah, I put them both together.
Oh, no, I'm going to use that forever.
No way, shape, in hell.
No way, shape, in hell that happened.
Nope, absolutely not. But it's crazy, and I guess we'll leave it at that. We did forget to say, and mentioned that now with the extra 2 weeks of filming and reunion and everything that's going on, Schwartz and Sandy will not be making an appearance in Winter House.
They're not going to make it there.
I don't know what Winter House is going to do because that was already a dying franchise, in my opinion. That show stinks, needs to go somewhere, especially with how Summer House is going.
Ugh.
Are they even going to party, or are they going to go to bed at 11 and make sure they wake up early and work out? I don't fucking know. All I know is, and we'll get to Summer House, just bring Andre in and just let him have the show.
Let him go, because he was great. It was such a, they were all so excited when he got there. I was excited when he got there. We're going to get to that momentarily, because, again, we're not going to dive too far into this episode. We're more just talking about what the news of Vanderpump is this week. But, and, the last little bit of, then we're going to talk about the episode ever so briefly. The last little nugget of info that we got that I can share with you guys is there's a lot of questions about who knew and who didn't know. And you might have seen an Instagram post from us in the last week where I quoted Tom Schwartz saying it's complicated. And that comes from a phone call that was had between a few people. And the topic of conversation was, Schwartz, did you know? Was this a ruse? Were you trying to cover up for your boy? Did you know? His response was, it's complicated.
Which is just worse than saying yes.
Way worse. But we saw him say it's complicated.
Throw a sack and just say, yeah, I knew. What do you want me to do? That's my best friend. I'm not going to air out his shit. I would respect you a little bit more if you said that.
Yeah.
But just saying, it's complicated. It's yeah, you fucking knew. You just don't have the words to say what you want to say. So you're just cowering, which Schwartz always does. He's just going to go cower somewhere in a corner.
Yep.
Not say anything, not get involved, not step on any toes. But by doing this, you're going to alienate yourself and put yourself with Sandoval, and then you're going to be gone.
And that's what I think is confusing to me, and I think that it's obviously he's going to do whatever the fuck Sandoval's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck, Schwartz, would you put yourself and your business in this situation? That's the other part of this that they don't talk about, really. I mean, people are obviously they crucified them on Yelp. They got their rating down to a 0, and then before Yelp finally shut it down because it was getting so crazy. But these guys have so much going on in a positive way. Why the fuck would you do any of this shit? And Schwartz, why would you go along with it? That's where I'm just, you can't be that dumb. Come on, bro. That's not riding for your buddy.
No.
That's just covering up a atom bomb that's waiting to go off. And you're going to be taken down with it. You're collateral damage now, you dumbass.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is Schwartz was in just such a terrible emotional state, and maybe Sandoval took advantage of that.
Maybe. What do you mean maybe? This guy is an emotional
takes advantage
terrorist.
Of him all the time, yeah. But Schwartz was probably just in such a shitty state after the divorce that he was probably going to go along with anything, and Sandoval still, quote unquote, showing him love and sticking by his side and all this. He probably felt like he needed to help him out too. You're showing me so much love and helped me through this. I feel like I could do this. Put yourself in the mind of a emotional infant and an emotional terrorist. When the two of them get together, I don't know.
All hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
No way, shape, in hell. And then the other people that knew, and this is funny because we were contacted by one of the band members following this all fallout, he fell for my Instagram post with the fake DM. We got hit up by a member of the group telling me we haven't heard Sandoval's side of the story yet. And I was like, okay, buddy, we're done.
We got to think about Tom in this situation.
Yeah, no. This bridge is burnt, my friend. I would have felt bad, but they covered for Tom too. So they did know. I think a lot of the shenanigans went down after shows on the road, after shows at home.
Yep.
This was part of the whole charade. Was the band. They were holding him down because they were getting their lead singers back. The lead singer that pays them to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here to hear his side. I don't care to hear his side. But let's talk about the episode for fucking 2 minutes, and then we can move on. The only thing we need to talk about is Oliver.
Oh, yeah.
Oliver, Garcelle's son, enters the scene. He's at Vanderpump Paris
which I thought was in Paris.
We both did. I was gonna throw us both under the bus. Back,
I was like, that's sick.
I said the same thing. Remember, we heard when this
Good
news
for Oliver. He went to France. That's great.
Yeah, this news came out forever ago, and both of us were like, yeah, they were in Paris. And then 16 people were like, Yeah, that's Vanderpump Las Vegas.
I didn't even
We're
see
like,
that. And then when it happened
ew.
tonight, I was like, oh, Vegas. Right. There's an Eiffel
Vegas.
Tower there, too.
Yeah. The Paris of Nevada, as they say. But I am glad they clarified that Oliver was separated. A lot of people have been trying to lump him into the home wrecking train that Raquel is currently running, but Oliver was separated. At
He
least
says he was separated.
says he was separated.
A couple other people backed it up on screen. So there's
Yeah.
no way to think that he's not.
For all intents and purposes,
Yep.
he was separated. And I thought this whole interaction was interesting just given the news this past week, only because you can see in real time how Raquel operates.
Yep.
And I'll call her Raquel here just to. I think that Raquel is the conniving, sneaky one, and Rachel is the one that got caught. So I'm going to say Raquel in this moment.
I like that.
But you see this weird like throuple going on where, first of all, Oliver's got game.
Oh, yeah.
Oliver has
No
tremendous
disputing that.
game. Well done, Oliver. He can spit.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there with the two of them, and he's doing a good job. They're both falling for it, and I figured out Raquel's what she does.
Okay.
This is what she does.
Yeah.
Because she gets away with being this nice, sweet, carefree, not that bright, whatever. She has these conversations where she's like, no, like you can do it. And she like makes the person feel bad for her. And they're like, no, you know what? Go get him, girl. And like gives her like a pat on the ass and sends her off to go hook up with Oliver. Meanwhile, in her head, she's like, gotcha, bitch.
Yep.
Like she, for not 1 second was she questioning hooking up with Oliver. She was just trying to schmooze Lala into not giving her shit for it and then immediately swooped. Lala needs to take it on the chin a little bit better because you lost. You can't
Yeah, you can't be sitting there in the confessional saying
No.
that you don't care, I don't really care. And if it was a competition, you know that he'd be rolling around in the bed with me. It's like,
can't say that.
well, it was a competition and you lost.
Yeah, I mean,
like if you wanted to win, you should have at least shown. You tried. It didn't work. He hooked up with Raquel. You lost.
yeah.
Lauren.
Oh, the government name came out. He warned. He did warn. But other than that, I don't think there's much more to really talk about. I think that
we're good.
all of us were just looking for clues the whole time. I
I
wasn't
feel
really
like
paying
it's going to be a
attention.
couple of weeks of this. Now, it's going to be interesting to see just how much they can edit it to look like they're building up to it, which for everything that we understand about these shows, they have endless footage.
Yeah, it's
So they
hours
will
and
be able to
hours.
piece something together. I feel like just this episode, it's going to be tough. It's a quick turnaround. I can't imagine being in production for Bravo this
I
week.
was thinking that.
Like, it was probably hell.
If
It was
I-
like I pictured SpongeBob's brain when everything's burning. It's like that's probably what the Bravo production studios look like. Like, we got to get footage. Do we have anything of Raquel and Sandoval like flirting at all? Not this week, but maybe in a couple of weeks. Give me a couple of days. Like this one, look, I'm okay. Everybody's still getting over the news, but people are gonna really start looking for it. And if the next couple of weeks have nothing to do with Raquel and Sandy, it's going to be kind of tough until we get to that point. People are
Yeah.
going to be like, I don't care about any of this. I don't care about Schwartz and Rachel. I don't care about Sheena's issues. Like, all I want is Raquel and Sandy.
That's what.
And then
all
we
of
won't
us
get it
want.
for a couple of weeks. So we'll see how it goes.
I think they're gonna have to drag out the other plot lines just to give everyone their fair screen time.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it's going to be really interesting when we have that episode where we see it shift.
Oh, yeah.
Where we can feel it and be like, okay, we're in it now.
Because now we're hyper-focused.
Oh my God. I am locked into everyone's facial expressions, who's looking at who, how they react to people. We were all just so fucking blind, and I feel so dumb. I feel used. I feel used and thrown away.
And you can't be bought with new Tom Tom hats.
No! To set that fucking thing on fire. But let's move on. But that takes us back to Summer House. We're just going to do a quick little run through here. But it is still a reunion episode, and we've already talked about Vanderpump for 45 minutes. But obviously, that's why you're all here. But I like that they start the episode with Kyle and Danielle making up. Like, it seems at the time that Danielle realized, like, okay, maybe I should just stay out of it.
Yeah.
This is not my business. Clearly, there's a lot more layers to this than just me getting mad because he's being mean to my friend.
But I feel like that's what you get with Kyle is like, yeah, you get the outbursts. Yeah, you get the things that he says that maybe he wishes he could take back. But at the end of the day, like, he's going to tell you how he actually feels and how it's affecting him, whether it's something that you say to his wife, which we see later, or it's something that's really bogging him down on like a day-to-day time. And like we saw when he was planning for the wedding, like he was an emotional wreck and he let everybody know how he felt all the time, which is healthy, maybe in doses, but not as much as he was doing. And now this time you get Danielle, who, look, I have issues with Danielle sometimes, and then other times I'm like, she is pretty real. This is one of those moments where I feel like she noticed right away. She's like, this is pretty serious. You know, if he needs somebody to talk to about it, I don't know if I'm really the one, because I'm really friends with Carl and Lindsay, and maybe I can't really look at this without kind of having their back, but I do feel for Kyle in this moment. So go talk to Carl about it. Like, other people have told him to go talk to Carl about it. He has. Carl said absolutely nothing. And then we actually do get to a point where they get to sit down in work, which is helpful, I think.
It was.
And Carl's actually there, and you get a little bit out of Carl that maybe like in an email form where he's saying absolutely nothing, or maybe in front of Lindsay where he's going to act like I do fucking everything, blah, 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 blah. You get him by himself, you might get a real answer out of him, which we sort of did, but really didn't.
You know what we got? We got the realest answer that we've gotten. It wasn't it wasn't real 100%, but it was the realest one we've gotten. And you said the key word, Lindsay wasn't there. And the only reason I'm going to hold on to this, it has nothing to do with being like, oh, she should stay out of his business. Like, I understand that if you're in a relationship, there's going to be input. I do believe there's a way to go about it. I think the way that Amanda talks to Kyle about the business is productive. I think the way that she kind of, well, how do you feel about this? She asks him questions. It's not, you need to do this.
Right.
You need to do that. They don't think this. They don't think that. And I'm only bringing it up because you see it in real time tonight when all that shit pops off, when they play that stupid fucking game. Of course, Stir the Pot's not going to go well.
No.
Are you kidding me? But I'm sure production
Why can't they just, yeah, they definitely did. But like, why can't they just do Stir the Pot and have it be like goofy questions and like,
yeah, who do
a
you
lot
not
of people
trust?
check in for like the sexual questions too, where it's like, which of these girls is most likely to do anal or something, and like you get an answer. Like we saw that, I think that question popped up on 4 different franchises this year.
I'm glad you clarified. That wasn't just a you question.
No, it wasn't just a me question. But you see it, like questions like that are fine because they're innocent, they're funny. If you get upset about something like that, then like fuck off. Like you shouldn't be there. Like get thicker skin. This is stupid.
No, it's personal.
And also about that, I think Amanda's a huge baby. Just a huge baby. When she started crying right away.
Well, she's also lit.
She was very lit.
Yeah.
Like they were slamming that fireball, passing her around. Been there, maybe got emotional. Who knows? But didn't like start crying right away. Like me, I'm out of here, and just like bursts into tears. And like Danielle, look, you can either choose not to answer the question, or kind of do what she did. Like she was just like, I don't know. Like I feel like I don't know what I'm gonna get if I tell Amanda something. Like she explained it, and I didn't think it was mean either. I thought that what like Lindsay and Carl sitting there like kind of smirking,
That was me.
That was the issue. And then it all looks like, all right, Lindsay's just pulling the strings all over the place. But in reality, I feel like Danielle was just like looking around the room, and she's like, all right, well, I can say Amanda and like have like a funny anecdote to it, which I think she tried to do. But Amanda started crying right away.
I don't think that it was like malicious. I don't think she was actually trying. I think she was taking a subtle dig. I don't think it was completely innocent, but I really don't think she was trying to like hurt her feelings or make her cry. I think the issue here lies in the fact that immediately after that, Lindsay takes it upon herself, and this is bringing back to what I was talking about earlier, to air out her grievances about the matter. This isn't about you, dude. This has nothing to do with you. Just because you have some shit with her, you handle that on your own time.
You didn't answer the question.
Instead, you're sitting there speaking on Carl's behalf while he's sitting in the fucking room. You're saying all of your shit with her, not Danielle's shit with her. Sierra keeps a really cool head, and she's like, look, that's your stuff. I'm asking Danielle, do you have any instances that you can give me? Give me an example.
I love Sierra this year.
I do too. She's fucking
Sierra's
great. She's great. She's the voice of reason. She's
you know why? Because Austin's not there.
Exactly.
Great.
And she's calm and she's collected and she shifts through all the nonsense with us, the viewer. So we're like, all right, cool. What's Sierra doing? Let's lock in so we know how to navigate this situation. I'm very appreciative of her this year. But Lindsay goes on a tirade about Amanda and starts saying all this stuff. And if I hear her use this one more time, dude, I got sober for him. That doesn't fucking work. You can't use that as a defense. You're weaponizing his sobriety. Knock it off. good for you. You know what you do if you want to stand in support and solidarity with your sober boyfriend? Get sober and shut the fuck up about it. You don't need a pat on the back because you don't drink, asshole.
Yeah. No, and it's another thing to say that like she is drinking again.
You are
So
drinking.
like, don't talk about your sobriety because you wanted to get sober for your sober boyfriend if you're now drinking again. Like that doesn't make any sense. And again, you're just bringing it back to you. She makes everything about herself.
Yep.
Nothing had to do with you in this instance. I didn't really get it. Like, look, like Kyle's always going to stand up for Amanda when something like that happens.
As you should.
And he has hit a breaking point. Yeah, did him and Carl sit down and like shake it out or whatever and fucking figure out what the hell's going on? Sort of. Sure. They're in a better place. But you don't see Carl getting up and like flipping out. Like Carl's sitting there like he's probably having a bit of a judgment issue. Do I stand up and tell Kyle to stop? Or do I just sit here and take Lindsay's side? Or do I do nothing? And he played Switzerland.
He just did nothing. And
He
then
just
I'm like,
sat
Carl,
there.
you
And
big
Danielle's,
pussy.
yeah, he was a big pussy in that situation. Danielle's screaming at him to get up and tell Kyle what to do. And he's like, look, like Kyle's going to make his own bed. This is what he always does. We just have to see it. And like, part of me agrees. Like, yeah, all right. Like, if you want to stay calm and not do anything, not take sides at all, and just sit there and let Kyle burn out, okay, that's fine. But if Lindsay's sitting there and making it about herself and talking about all this shit going on, like, it's got to put you in a really weird place.
Very weird place.
And I think that part of this is also Paige was not there. Because one, if Paige was there, I feel like Danielle would have said Paige and Paige would have laughed it off. And then, like, I wouldn't trust me either because I tell everybody's secrets.
Right. She
all
would
the
have
time.
played
She
it
knows
well.
that. She's self-aware and she can laugh about it. Also, if Paige was there, she would have stood up for Amanda immediately.
She would have stood up for
because
Amanda.
she's about that life.
Yeah, and she is. And like with the Carl thing, like, dude, I dare you. Call Dev a bitch in front of me.
Yeah.
Like, if another man called my wife a bitch in front of me, they smell you later. Like, you couldn't run fast enough. So, for Carl, in that moment, like, yeah, rock in a hard place. I feel for you there. Do something.
Mhm.
Hey, Lindsay, let's go in the other room. Hey, Kyle, take it outside. Either of those. You don't have to be, like, the tough guy getting Kyle's face. That's your boss. It's a weird situation.
Yeah.
Sure. Dude, you cannot sit there and then lean on I'm going to let him, make his own bed, blah, blah, blah.
Just try to diffuse it in some way.
Do something. Don't just sit there.
Yeah, some way, shape, and hell.
Some way, shape, and hell.
Shooter here to talk to you guys about Nutrafol. Look, if you're like me, you're worried about thinning hair, and you're doing some things thinking like, all right, my mom's dad had a full head of hair, so I think that means that I'm going to have a full head of hair, and then you start analyzing your ancestral tree, and you really just go through it all just to try to make yourself feel better. But Nutrafol's here, and I like it a lot. Look, it's preventative treatment. I'm not going bald, but I'm worried about maybe thinning in the future. It's nice and easy. I can take 4 pills a day, just put it in with my normal vitamin supplements every day, nice and easy. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting the 5 root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, and metabolism through whole body health. Nutrafol has 3 unique formulas to support women throughout all stages of life, including postpartum and menopause. Each formula is physician formulated using neutral, drug-free, medical-grade ingredients in consistently effective dosages, so you get the most reliable results. In a clinical study, 86% of women reported improved hair growth after 6 months. 3,000 top doctors and stylists recommend Nutrafol as an effective and high-quality solution for healthier hair. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code BravBros to save $15 off your first month's subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus, free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BravBros.
But that takes us to Miami. I'm gonna miss that. We gotta.
I know.
I
We're
gotta
gonna
get
have to
new
find
sounds.
something else. I know.
New
New sounds, different shows. We'll keep it fresh.
Super fresh, the freshest. But we start out. We're still with Lisa and Lenny's mom,
Mm-hmm.
and they're having lunch. And we started to see last week. Lenny's mom was taking a turn. She's not fully in support of Lisa anymore. She starts throwing out some defense for old Lenny. He's trying to say
Yeah,
like, oh well,
some
he said that
excuses and
you stayed out really like all the time. You're always out with your girlfriends, which everybody knows. If you go out too much, then your spouse is supposed to cheat on
I
you.
love that she was like,
What the fuck?
he said that, he was kind of over the party scene. It's like, fucking was he?
What are you talking about?
I have to see that clip about the damn party from 10 years ago
God.
again. And here we find out at the end of the episode that they were hosting a Halloween party. Like, is he over the party scene? No. Also, his mom has now come out. I guess she has an Instagram for whatever reason. And she's commenting on things. And somebody had asked her, have you come around on Lenny's new girlfriend? And he said, she's lovely.
Ugh.
Yeah, so she is now fully in Lenny's camp, which started off, if your own son is saying, I don't want to talk to you again because of this whole situation.
And kicks you out of the house?
And now 6 months later, you're commenting saying that his new girlfriend is lovely. Like, you're a fucking snake. Like, I'm sorry. And I don't have any issues calling an 80-year-old woman a fucking snake. I call him how I see him.
He does. I'll give him credit for that. But moving on with Adriana meets with a real producer. Now, we have different takes on this one. Emilio Estefan is like a legitimate producer in the music world. Yeah. What do you think of the song, Shooter?
I think that the producer is fine. I think the song sucks.
He wrote the song.
I don't care.
But I don't trust your opinion of that over Emilio Estefan's. I just don't. I think it's...
I think he knows that people are going to listen. Like, we've looked up her stats. They're not that impressive. I've come around on the Miami's on Fire thing, even though I feel like she didn't really sing it. It's all auto-tune. This one, I don't get it. Like, I was listening to the lyrics. There's nothing really there. Like, I've got my bag. I've got this. Like, if you get that paycheck and then get a free dessert, like, what the fuck's going on?
Oh, you're right, because all music today makes sense. All the everyone
Good
today's a
music makes
lyrical
sense.
genius. Oh, good. Yeah, okay, but that's...
This isn't good music. It doesn't make sense.
It can be a banger without being like an epic song. There's lots of songs out. Who Let the Dogs Out?
Great song.
Fucking banger.
Yeah.
The Baja Men stink.
They're one-hit wonders.
Correct.
She can be a one-hit wonder.
She might not be. Give her a chance. She has nothing else, dude. Lay off.
God, she's fine.
We get a scene with Lisa and Marysol and Alexia, and they're over at Lisa's house, and I can't get over the house. It is atrocious. They did a terrible job. I'm sure Lenny designed the whole thing. That wine cellar, I guess you could call it, is the tackiest shit. It looks like a duty-free airport, like where you go and
It does
buy
kind
liquor.
of, yeah, actually, that's a good point. I haven't, obviously the outside of the house is atrocious. The inside of the house, I don't have as much of an issue with it. It's
I
kind
do.
of, some of it's kind of cool.
The
I
kids'
didn't think that the wine cellar
playroom?
was, but yeah, the kids' playroom looks like an insane asylum. But I don't know. The outside of the house, I will just never be able to get over. It
No, it's a
is
compound.
so ugly.
But the point of this whole meeting with these three women, Lisa brings up the fact that Adriana wants to reconnect. She wants to get past that horrible, horrible, horrible thing that she said and kind of be able to reconnect with these ladies. I talked about it last week with you, and we actually got to see it. This week, I felt like I had some support from the women of Miami because Lisa was saying, look, she's lonely as shit. This woman needs friends. And Alexia, I really, truly believe if Marysol wasn't in the picture, Alexia would have came around already.
Maybe not just yet. I mean,
I'm
it was
thinking
brutal.
pre-comment. I'm thinking
Yeah, pre-comment, I think, because we were already getting there.
Yeah.
Before Marysol showed up with her goddamn air horn or fucking bullhorn, it seemed like Alexia was kind of coming around on it. That just goes to show you we need Marysol the fuck out because I'm just so tired of her. And even later, we'll get to it, but you can see Marysol sitting at that table just waiting to see what Alexia does. And then once Alexia puts her flag in the sand and says, hey, I'm not really over that yet. Like, that still fucked me up. I can't believe that you said that to me as a friend, somebody that I've known since before Frankie's accident. You can sit here and say that and not know how much that's going to hurt me. That's ridiculous. Like, I'm not just going to take this apology. Maybe we can work to it, whatever. Marysol just goes over the top. She's like, all right, we're fighting now. Here we go. Yeah. Like, let's go. Like, have your own goddamn mind or just shut the hell up. I don't want to deal with you anymore. I don't want to watch you on Ultimate Girls Trip. You're fucking out.
Oh, yeah.
No, just no more Marysol, no more cockies. It was ridiculous that she was sitting there and Lisa's girl was in a little dress and she's like, oh, it just makes me want to have a drink. It's like, don't push your fucking shit on a 5-year-old girl.
Yeah, I agree. And
You're disgusting.
Can we stop highlighting that she doesn't eat?
No,
I quit highlighting when
she
she's
thinks
like,
it's fun.
it's not.
They're a stupid fat dog. Enough about Marysol. I just don't care. But yeah, I thought it was kind of funny that they all like kind of got a little nervous because Lenny might be coming home and like, oh, wait, is he coming home right now? Like it's 6:30 right now. Like, no, he's not going to come home. He knows I have friends over. Okay, all right, cool, because he's a coward. But
Sniveling worm.
yeah, he is a sniveling worm. But we do get, and still my point about Adriana, I don't know why does she need to reconnect with everybody? We see her when she's at her video release party or music release party, whatever the hell it was last week. She gets support from Gertie, from Nicole. Lisa shows up. Julia's there, who loves you. Those are good friends that you said something horrible and they're still showing up and they're still good enough friends to be like, look, like you said some horrible shit. Do you feel bad about it? They get it out of her. She does feel bad about it. You don't need to also then be friends with Alexia, with Marysol. Like, fuck them. Seriously, like, who cares? Yes, maybe apologize for saying something horrible, but if you don't end up being best friends with them, it's not the end of the world. You've got nice people in your court who are going to make sure that you're not lonely. They feel bad for you. They're going to check in. They're going to make sure that you're accompanied and you've got things to do to keep your mind off of it. Like, stop pining for the rest of them and stop with this, like, so sorry for me bullshit.
I think you swayed me a little bit between last week and this week on my stance with the whole thing. I agree. I think the fact that she can't read the room and be like, oh, I do have friends, like, is one, short-sighted, and two, disrespectful to the women that are giving her support in this moment. So I agree with you there. Where I don't agree, I really think that she's struggling a lot, and I think that what Marysol and Alexia signify, that friendship, predates the friendship with the other women. It's something that
Probably.
I think she kind of equates that to her old life and being comfortable and not being panicky. And she's kind of thinking, if I don't have these two, I can't move forward because I need these two because I've had these two for so long. She's not capable of looking around the room and being like, oh, Julia is a great friend. Julia stands by me no matter what. She is literally biting her straw to keep from jumping across the table and giving it to Marysol.
Yeah.
So I think there's two sides to it. I do feel for her. I think that she's going through a lot. I think she's terrified of the future, and that's got to be really hard and really scary. That is not an excuse to say the things that she's saying. It's also not an excuse to ignore your actual friends. So she needs to figure it out a little bit, but I do think we need to give her some grace.
No.
Okay, cool. But that takes us back to Jersey. And we start out at the shore house of the Fudas. And I wanted to talk about this briefly only because I loved getting to know John Fuda a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because this man is, one, a mystery to me, and two, hearing about having sole custody of his kids, the relationship with his children. I always like to hear that stuff. I just think it's really nice to, like, get to know somebody like that. Like, all right, cool. Like, this man was a solo father, took sole custody of his kid. He seems to be a good father. Like, I love that. So that's a check in the plus box for John Fuda. I have figured out the beard. We talked about it on our live today with Zach Peter. Why it looks funny, if you want to say. I don't want to be too mean about it.
Why it looks odd.
So it's clearly some Just for Men on there, I believe. I want to say it's a little bit dyed, which is fine. You know, you got to do what you got to do. Yep. No shame whatsoever. But he shaves just under his nose, like a centimeter off the mustache.
It's got to be tough to do.
Oh, I'm sure. But do you think you go straight razor, like old school, like barber style?
I don't know. I have a hard enough time like keeping my mustache manicured. I can't imagine cutting it in half from the nose down. Like, it just sounds really complicated. I guess he's got a strategy down somewhere.
He's got his strategy down, but that is, if you pay attention, look at his upper lip, and you will see there is a slight stubble mark just above his mustache, and that's where he shaves it to. And that's
something going on there.
It's a personal choice. You know what? If it works for you, I'm not here to tell you to do otherwise. Yep. It's just I needed to figure out what was going on. I got to the bottom of it. So,
well, that's good. Yeah. But the good thing about the Fudas and just seeing the family orientation, like, obviously, Jersey, there's always going to be a big family influence on everything.
We like it.
We love it. Like, we need more. They're not really highlighting the families anymore. We barely get to see husbands or kids or anything in, like, any of the other franchises. We need more of that because it does really make them feel more real. And if you have somebody that you're rooting for and you like their family dynamic, and then Marge comes and yells at them, you're going to defend them more. If it's just them as a singular person, you're going to be like, yeah, I don't really care too much.
I agree. And I think the biggest thing is what you just said. It humanizes them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I can look past you just screaming in a restaurant because at the root of it, you're a mother, you're a wife, you have a family, you seem to love them very much.
It makes it crazy, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
if you flip a fucking table in the middle of a restaurant and you have a great relationship with your kids and your husband at home, that's wild to me.
And much more entertaining.
Yeah.
So give us more of that stuff. But Tree and her daughters are dress shopping, and it's a totally different dress than the one that we end up seeing. But I do
Definitely different hair.
definitely different hair. I thought her hair looked nice. I thought that would have been a
the
great
same
look.
thing. I was like, she
dude,
should have just done that.
you would have, yeah, like you should have done. But it's your big day.
I'm not surprised.
You know,
yeah.
whatever. And of course, Teresa's gonna go above and beyond. No pun intended.
Uh-huh.
Hey, because her hair was tall.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. But this was something that Zach actually pointed out today that I didn't really notice, but it's kind of interesting to hear how she talks to her daughters about the situation with Joe and Melissa.
Yeah.
Because it does seem, if you look at it through that lens, that she's almost planting little seeds in their brain. I don't know if she's trying to. I know obviously they are, independent thinkers. Gia's been around for a while. She's older. She knows what's going on. She's kind of got a feel for everything. But she is involving the kids. I don't know if planting a seed is the right word. Involving the kids in the drama.
I think involving the kids is a good way to put it. The way that I look at it is, Teresa had her daughters for a while, and that's like really her only lifeline for the
That's
most part.
fair.
Like
Yeah,
Joe
okay.
was gone, he was in Italy, he was in prison, whatever, and it was really just her and her daughters. So like, with everything that she was going through, whether it was with Joe, whether it was with friends or whoever, I feel like she really leaned on her daughters, and like, her daughters aren't like Gia's 21, Melania's 15.
I think so.
With the most Jersey thing I've ever seen in my life at the end there, where she's like, it's over, it's wraps, and she's like
Yeah.
using her hands. I'm like, fuck yeah. But they've grown up so much because I feel like Teresa treats them like adults because she needs somebody to talk to. And like, yeah, it is inevitable if you're going to tell your side of the story always that your daughters are going to start to think how you think.
Sure.
And it makes sense. But I think that that's kind of the byproduct from it all is she's leaned on them for so long, and she still does. But now, obviously, like Louie's there, and you get to have her talk to Louie a little bit more. But then her daughters are also there. Like, it is I feel like it's a healthy dynamic. Like,
It appears to
she's
be.
not sitting there with her thoughts or trying to spin Louie up and like go fight Joe or some bullshit. She's sitting there talking to the people that she really relies on, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I just think it's interesting that,
If you want to look at it like that, yeah.
it's just an interesting thing to like ask their opinion on the matter only because it's such a volatile issue. It's been going on. And I think that, another thing we have to give credit to is the fact that I'm assuming that her kids grew up faster than most as
I'm
far as
sure.
like
They've
maturity
been
level
through
goes.
so much, yeah.
They're more mentally mature than the normal 15-year-old
Uh-huh.
because they've seen growing up in this atmosphere, dude. They're probably like 30-year-olds mentally. Like,
I'm sure, yeah.
I can't imagine trying to deal with all this shit. I don't know. I mean, you did a good job there because that is true. That was her kind of her confidants for when it was just them. So that does make sense.
Yeah.
So well done. Well done.
Thanks.
But we get a lunch between Melissa and Jennifer Aiden. And the more I see Jen Aiden on my screen, the more I'm like, this behavior is erratic.
It is.
It's just all over the place.
Yeah, she
She's
really
a
is.
mess. And she's talking to Melissa about Marge comes up again. And she starts throwing out all this shit. Like, Jen, you're not going to rally support by talking shit about Marge. Have you learned nothing? Stop talking shit about these women. And you're going after the heavy hitters.
Yep.
Stop talking
It
about
always comes
Marge.
back to them too. Like there's a huge trend in this show where you see it time and time again over the last couple of seasons, over the whole life of the franchise. If you go and talk shit to one woman, she's going to go then tell, if not the person you just talked shit about, then somebody very close to them. And it always gets back to them within like 2 days. So what are you really trying to do? And we talked about it with Zach today on the live. Is Jen trying to get people to team up with her? Is she just trying to put them against Marge? what the hell happened with the Dolores thing? Because it seems like we're not even talking about it anymore. And Dolores is sitting next to Jen and there's no issues at all.
Zero.
So I don't even know what the hell happened there. Did they squash it or did Dolores just say, oh, yeah, you've moved on to Marge. I'm cool. I don't really need to talk about it. I don't
Probably
care.
that.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah, Dolores is probably like, I'm over this shit. Great. Marge, you can take the brunt of this storm for a while. But I did, to your point, though, I was watching Jen's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching her when Marge told her that Melissa spilled the beans.
Yep.
This goes to prove your point. She didn't bat an eye. She's like,
was
of
not
course she told
surprised.
you. Yeah, of course she told you. And I did say that. Like, she was assuming that was going to get back to Marge. My only thing is, what's your strategy? What are you trying to accomplish here? You have one person in the crew right now. That's Teresa. And Teresa is the voice of reason to Jen, which is fucking wild. But they go outside, and she's bitching about Marge. And normally, Teresa would have been like, yeah, I know, she's the worst, blah, blah. All Teresa says is, yeah, just kind of brushes it off. She doesn't jump in.
Yep.
She doesn't chime in. She doesn't
Diffuses the situation, makes everybody happy, wishes you well on your way home, and she goes home to her love bubble.
And we're going to be told, like, oh, you guys just don't see her for what she is. Like, what? How could you
The
look
only
at that
thing I can think of is, like, if you're thinking like this, maybe Teresa's in the shadows pulling Jen like a puppet.
Maybe.
And she's doing that. Like, in a really good argument, you might be able to convince me that that's happening. But it just doesn't look like it's happening. And I get no pleasure out of watching Jen and Marge just scream at each other. And when Marge really starts screaming, it is one of the most irritating things in the world. Like,
firmly agree.
I just cannot deal with it. Like, the rage in her face over something that just is so stupid. I do want to ask you, do you think that Jen Fessler knows what she signed up for at all?
No.
Yeah.
Nope. I think she is.
Did she watch the show? Like, she thinks that everybody's going to come over and, like, hey, we'll just have like a peaceful lunch outside. Like, this will be great. Like, no chance in hell.
It's the second time we've seen her try to intervene and it just go horribly wrong. She tried to do the same thing at the mozzarella party, the Mutz party, when she was just crushing that Mutz, your favorite scene.
Damn.
That mouthful of Mutz, baby.
She did it. I mean, she did it without the mozzarella today. Like, the way that she like started shaking, like visibly, like standing up, like, ugh.
That's what I don't think that she knows. You know what I think? I think she's friends with a lot of the women on the show, and out of support, she put the show on in the background. Like, when she was doing stuff at the house or whatever, like after work, I don't know, whatever she's doing, she put the show on and just heard it in the background. She's supporting her friends, giving them a view. But I don't think she dove in because she's taken aback by all this shit. She's like, I have neighbors. It's like, fuck your neighbors.
I think it makes it kind of real. It's kind of funny. Like, I didn't even think about the neighbors.
I didn't
She
either.
was just like, I've got neighbors. Like, I don't live in Teresa's house. I don't have 6 acres or 4 acres.
no,
and
no,
Teresa was like, I've got 6 acres. What do you have?
Oh,
like,
that's how it went
Teresa.
down? Yeah, I was going to say. No, Teresa
Whoa.
chimes in. I have 6 acres. It's like, okay.
But she was smiling and like laughing, like having a good time. It's like, whatever, Teresa. This doesn't involve you.
Yeah, stay out with your funny quip.
Yeah, you're funny with your happiness.
Yeah,
like, what the hell is this?
Ew, you guys just don't see
But
her
it
for
is
what she
funny because,
is.
like if you're a neighbor in that Jersey town and you just hear these women screaming and you've got all these production vans on your street, probably a normally quiet street, you're like, what the fuck's going on? Is this the Jersey Shore or is this Real Housewives of Jersey giving us a bad name again? Damn it.
They're probably like nose over the fence. What's it, Nelson from Home Improvement? Was
Yeah,
that
I
the
think
dude
it's
behind
Nelson,
and you
yeah.
only saw the top of his head.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
every neighbor in the neighborhood just peeking over the fence, like, oh my god,
What's going
it's
on over
getting
there?
worse. It's still getting worse.
I was thinking about the South Park episode with Jersey. It's a Jersey thing.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that. But let's keep going. Keep going. Fessler kicks Jen out because she's friends with Marge.
I do like that she stopped Marge and she's like, no. This is my house. You're not leaving.
I did too.
I didn't expect her to kick Jen out after that. I thought she
Oh,
was
I
going to be
did.
like, you guys are going to sit here like adults. And like, I thought that she was going to be very real about it and be like, you're not children. Sit down like adults. Eat the damn chicken and waffles because it's so fucking good. And I planned this damn Southern party. Just sit down, eat the food like adults, deal with it. And we're going to have a nice time. We're going to leave. Like, if she did that, I think that would have been awesome. But instead, she was like, Jen, you got to go. Like, I got to ask you to leave. And Teresa leaves with her in solidarity. I don't know. That was a good moment. And then it was quickly taken away when she asked Jen to leave. So I had an issue with that.
I actually appreciated the fact that she kicked Jen out because that one, diffuses the situation. Two, it shows that you're going to stand up for your friend. I like the fact that she had her friend's back.
That's true, yeah.
You know, it's nice to see. You don't usually see people take a stand and be like, no, you get out, you stay. It's usually everyone's leaving.
Usually they just let everybody leave. Like, all right, fine, you want to leave, just go.
Everyone usually bounces.
Yeah, so
but,
that was a different aspect that I kind of appreciated.
But then we get to the Barbie party, which I thought was ravishing.
It was awesome.
I appreciate the big parties. We miss the big parties. Give us the big parties.
Yep.
I like to see, like, for a 6-year-old's birthday, you rented out this whole place and decked it all out to the nines. Like, fuck yeah, more of that.
The Barbie impersonator and all the
yeah.
things that were going on. I loved, like, this is the difference, I think, between Jen Fessler and Danielle, is Danielle immediately said, and she said it before when she was talking to her husband, there's a lot of shit going on in this friend group right now. There's a lot of people on edge, a lot of people fighting. This is my daughter's birthday. I invited them to invite their kids and to have a good time. If they try to pop off, I'm going to squash that. Like, not at my daughter's birthday.
And I believed her.
And I fucking believed every
Firmly.
word. And you could see it during the party. Like, Jen pulls somebody aside. She's talking to Rachel. She's got issues with Rachel because of the nose job comment. What's going to happen? Rachel's sitting there with her daughter. And you can see it. Like, this is what is going to make this so good. And we talk about the infusion of new blood. They're so family oriented. Rachel's sitting there with her 1.5-year-old daughter. Like, she's not going to get into it with you right now, Jen. I'm sorry, but, like, if you want to start talking shit, like, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to do this right now, is what Rachel says. Danielle sees it from afar, and she's like, I'm going to go over there and make sure that nothing pops off because this is my daughter's birthday. Like, those are real moments where it's like, all right, this isn't a scripted TV show. Like, these women are actually worried about how their families are going to perceive these situations and how it's going to potentially ruin a party that I spent months and months planning for. I'm not going to let that thing swing, and I love that.
But isn't that crazy to look at it from the other side in Jen Aiden's mind and be like, oh, kid's birthday party, I'm going to start talking shit.
Cameras are rolling, I'm there.
What the fuck? And she goes over and starts in, and we see it, and she kind of starts in. They're standing at the bar, and it's like her, Teresa, Fuda, and Danielle. And I do want to comment, I love the one-on-one between Danielle and Rachel Fuda because I do believe that this is the future of Jersey.
Yeah.
And I think that we are in good hands with Danielle at the helm if that's the way that this goes. And I think it will. That's my hot take. I think that she's going to take on a more center role. I think that we're going to see Gia step into a role at some point. I think that's why we're getting confessionals out of her. We're seeing her kind of get ready for the camera and kind of be more comfortable. She's able to voice her own opinion. She's able to kind of navigate. She's almost like a friend of, like a very light friend of.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So I think that we're going to see her start to come on the show more. I think that Danielle's going to take a much bigger role. I think Rachel Fuda has a lot of potential. I've liked her thus far. And I think we're going to see it shift because I do believe Teresa will have her own show within the next 3 years.
Yeah, and I think that she'll probably take Gia with her.
I do too.
I imagine the whole family will go, and it'll be a love bubble wherever the hell they go. I want to ask you one thing from this episode before we move on to Potomac. Something that I caught, we talked about it in Zach's Live earlier. If you remember last week when Melissa's talking to her nieces, and we get the confessional, and we're talking to Gia, and I forget which daughter it was, but they were talking about how they never get to talk to their cousins when their uncle and their mom are fighting. Like, it's like a fence goes up, is what she said.
Yeah.
When Melissa's sitting in the car after that weirdly fabricated driving scene where there was nobody behind them honking, by the way. Did you catch that?
Yeah, that
No
was
chance in hell.
100% production.
But she asks her daughter, Antonia, you still talk to your cousins, right, every day? And she's like, yeah, every day. Who's lying in this situation?
I think that I don't want to call a child a liar.
I have no qualms.
I know you don't, but I have morals. And I think I'm leaning towards Melissa and Antonia not being 100% truthful. See, I'm still not even
Do you think
gonna call her a
Melissa's
liar.
involved in that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. I think that she set that up. I think that's an easy one where the difference is the back and forth, right? Like the way that Teresa's daughters talk to her, it seems pretty genuine, unless they're that good at acting on reality TV already, which they might be. They've been around it for a while.
It could be.
When you said Melania was like, that's a rap, boom, boom, like that's candid, it's off the cuff, it's quick, like that seems genuine and real versus this is a very easy thing to be like, hey, I'm going to ask you about your cousins. And you're going to tell me like, yeah, you talk every day. Let's not forget that, you know, Melissa's the one that pulled her children out of the school with her cousins. right? So she was the one that initially broke that relationship with them.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So clearly, like, you being friends with your cousins and talking every day isn't important if I'm going to take you out of the school.
That's my point.
That's a good point. I took it as Antonia's just like teenager checked out, like, yeah, mom, whatever, like, of course, sure,
It could be
whatever
that
you say.
simple
Like,
as well.
that's how I took it. I genuinely do think that, like, I think when Teresa's daughters are talking and they're saying, like, I haven't seen Uncle Joey in almost a year.
It feels real.
I haven't seen Melissa in however long. Like, we don't talk to our cousins. Like, it sucks. It's sad. I hate that this happens. Like, I resonate with that, and I'm like, that's serious. This is not. But I thought it was really funny that, like, we heard that last week, and then this week we hear, oh yeah, I talk every day. It's like, whoa. Like, what's really going on here?
Stories.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's something to look forward to. Maybe something to just keep an eye on. You know.
Look, I'm still enjoying it. I haven't gotten tired of anything yet, other than Marge screaming and Jen screaming. And if you want us to pick a side there, they both stink.
Yeah, I'm not picking a side.
And last but not least, a very uneventful episode 3 of the reunion for Potomac. And I feel like we jinxed it. It may have been our fault that it flopped because we were talking about how good the first 2 were. And we haven't even seen the husbands yet, so the third one's going to be great.
Yeah, this one flopped big time.
90 minutes of absolutely nothing, no substance. You know, we get Chris on screen to kind of defend himself. He gets like a minute of airtime, and it actually, I thought, painted him in not a great light because it's just him screaming.
Yeah, it was just him screaming, and I did feel like Andy was really like, Chris, I'm going to give you as much time as you want. Like, he went back to him like 2 or 3 times. He's like, are you good? Like, do you want to say anything else? Is there anything else here? Like, there was really nothing. Like, Giselle just deflecting and not saying anything and then focusing on semantics. And it was just like a whole roundabout thing. And like, I don't know. It was a flop. It was the biggest storyline of the season. And we got absolutely nothing out of Giselle. It made Chris look a little bit bad compared to where he was beforehand. Almost like if he didn't talk at all and didn't show up, it would have been better. But I mean, he was there to support his wife, much like the other husbands were there. It was a snooze fest. Like, let's be honest. Like, I think Ray fell asleep 3 or 4 times. I may have fallen asleep 3 or 4 times as well.
I did think it was interesting, like the Jacqueline stuff of it. I'm glad that was like the beginning because that was kind of interesting just because everything she was saying to Mia, I was like, wow, Mia is really just so full of shit. And like, I don't like Jacqueline. Yeah. I don't particularly need her back on the screen next year, but she breaks out the receipts. And here's my issue with the whole thing. So we find out that they did not pay for the Porsche. They did not really do anything for her, at least according to this stuff.
Completely made up by who? I don't know.
I don't know who, and I don't know why. She claims it was by Mia because she wanted to paint the picture that Jacqueline was her, like,
underling.
And, like,
but then
why would you agree to that?
Yeah, why, if you're self-respectful, then why are you doing that?
Maybe because you wanted to be on TV.
It's got to be.
You discredit yourself in your own argument. Like, I'm not that woman. Well, you signed up for it, so what the fuck? But the funniest fucking thing, dude, Mia trying to defend herself once again and throwing out business terms and shit. She goes, yeah, well, he helped you get you, like, secured your EIN. Do you know how easy it is to get an EIN?
Yeah.
That's just, all that is your tax identification number for an LLC.
Yeah.
It takes 10 minutes and like $250 on LegalZoom, and you can have your own EIN. Like, that was hysterical to me. Like, that's your big, like, fuck you. Well, he got your EIN. Bitch, go on LegalZoom. This isn't, we're not even sponsored by them, but hey, LegalZoom, if you hear this, throw us a sponsor. But it was just, like, the icing on the cake. Like, Mia, you have no arguments. You don't have any evidence. You should have prepped better instead of bringing a fake box of receipts that you will now not show out of respect for Jacqueline. Nah, you don't have shit. You don't have anything to show, so you just tucked your box back away and put it behind you. Just because you bedazzled a cardboard box doesn't mean you have receipts.
And not only that, she also completely discredited herself during the entire season and reunion because she took to Twitter and apologized to Jacqueline and called her her sister and all of this nonsense. And it's like, what the fuck? You said that you went to go see Jacqueline's mother on Mother's Day. You didn't. You said that you did this. You didn't. Like, you're lying about everything.
Literally. And getting caught.
When you get caught lying about dumb shit, when you're trying to tell the truth about serious things, nobody's going to believe you.
Because you're a liar.
Because you're a proven liar.
Yep.
So nobody really cares what you have to say.
We don't really hear from Karen. I'm not even going to talk about the Charisse and Karen shit because it's all
bullshit and dumb, and nobody cares.
She said fucking 10, 20 years ago, like whatever. So Robin goes through her marriage stuff with Juan, which now is actually laughable learning the ins and outs of it because we know what happened.
Yeah.
There was no fidelity clause, which she then says was like, what if I want to get into some shit? Like, ha, ha, ha. He already cheated on you.
Yeah.
Again.
And I like that she's
again.
I like that she's trying to in her sit down later, which was so awkward for the other guest. Ebony Williams was the other guest. She sat there in silence,
making faces like,
making faces like, oh, this is fucking brutal,
terrible.
But Robin is trying to contain it and say, oh, it just happened over COVID. He was bored is one of the lines that I heard from, like, I guess maybe from her Patreon. It came out that Juan was bored during COVID, so that's why he had an affair. That's a good reason. That's he's just bored. There's not a lot of athletics going on. I'm tired of this mask mandate. Let me just go have an affair.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go cheat on my wife real quick. Like I'm pretty.
It's just so fucking funny, but like to get her caught up in the lie and then kind of just like corner her on Watch What Happens Live and just make her answer questions. And it's all still like she's still making stuff up. She's still lying. Andy was asking all the right questions. She just wasn't giving any answers that anybody really wanted to hear. And it was just a dud. Like the first 2 episodes were good. And we felt like we were building towards something because the main storyline was about the husbands and all this bullshit. And we just didn't get anything. And it just fell flat. And look, it's over. We'll see what happens next year. Who comes back, who doesn't. That's always fun in the off season. But overall, I mean, this is my first full season watch. I enjoyed it. You know, as far as housewife franchises go, there's not a lot of them thriving right now. I feel like Jersey's doing really well. Salt Lake City really fell off. We're excited to get into Atlanta. Beverly Hills, who the fuck knows what's going to happen? OC, who knows what's going to happen? If they don't bring in Cleveland, I don't know. Somebody shouted out the Cleveland thing, by the way.
I know. We're getting callbacks to Real Housewives of Cleveland, which is hysterical.
Yep.
But, and that takes us to the question portion. If I had to guess, I know what most of these are going to be about. And it rhymes with a schmander schmump. Mm-hmm. From M. Renteria 627, where's Schwartz? When is he going to pop up?
I don't know. I think the editing is going to change it around a lot because you have to imagine that they had a lot of the editing around Raquel and Schwartz.
Oh, no. Where is Schwartz right now? Where has he been during this whole scandal? We haven't heard from him.
He's in his shitty apartment getting chubbier, according to James.
Oh, okay.
That's what James said tonight on the show.
Well, there you go. From Annie Kate G. Do you think Tom was really ever going to leave Ariana? He's alleging that he was going to leave her like 7 months from now. He had some weird number.
Yeah, because he was trying to protect her mental health or some weird shit. No, I think that part of him was probably hoping that he would get caught cheating. Honestly, I feel like if it was like as bad as he's thinking it was, or he wanted to get out as bad as he says he did, then I feel like he's not man enough to just break it off. He would rather just get caught doing something that she didn't like, whether it's cheating or getting in an argument about the business and spending too much time there, which he wasn't.
He wasn't there.
It's not like Schwartz spending too much time with the business and growing distant from Katie. He was just avoiding the business and his relationship to go cheat on her. So, yeah, I don't think Sandy was ever man enough to actually break it off.
I agree. From Jillian Rose says, do you think Tom's plural. Do you think the Toms and Raquel will be fired? We call her Rachel here, Jillian.
I think Rachel could get fired. I think it's going to be hard to get rid of both Toms. They might give them like some sort of ultimatum about the whole thing for next season, but I don't know. Like, this is kind of gold. Like, maybe you get rid of Rachel.
I think we already got the answer from LVP on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
Because she was pretty much saying, like, we're so quick to cancel people. What if we waited and saw if they can actually learn from this and grow from this? Like,
That's a good point.
I don't know if she's being genuine there. I think she's trying to say, like, no, let's all be cool because we're going to bring them back. Because this is gold.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
From Fry M. Not
Fry M.
Well, I think her last name might be Fry, and it's like Fry'em, like a play on words. Fry'em.
How's it spelled?
FRYE.EM.
Probably Emily Fry.
Emily Fry. Fry'em. We just said her whole name.
Yeah.
Maybe. Anyways, is it time to reevaluate Jax and Kristen?
I don't know.
that?
I know enough about it.
Okay.
Here's what I'll say about Jax. Just because all of this went down doesn't mean that ultimately Jax is now a credible source.
100%.
Like he can still be a piece of shit. Like things can be mutually exclusive.
Yeah, they
All
can.
right.
One thing can also be true at the same time.
Yeah.
Jax, let's not forget the fucking wrecking ball that Jax Taylor was. As far as Dodie goes, she's got a chance.
She's got a chance because it looks like she's, which I think is always so weird, but she's mending relationships with Ariana over the fact that Tom cheated on her. Like,
Which is hysterical.
that is hysterical.
Like, what
How
the
do people, like, why are you okay with this? Like,
she said she's Team Ariana, like ride or die, and I appreciated the
that's
fact.
cool, but then she showed up at her house the next day and was like ready to talk to her. Like,
They're buddies.
that's so weird to me.
It is
I don't
weird,
know.
but they are really tight, and I actually need to give Kristen Doty some credit here because somebody asked her. A lot of people have been asking her, like, "Oh, is this kind of like you feel like you got your comeuppance, or that Sandoval got his comeuppance? Like he did this to you? Like you happy? Blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And she literally was like, "This is about Ariana. This has nothing to do with me. I'm just making sure my friend's okay. I'm Team Ariana, ride or die till the end." And like that was the end of the video. Now, obviously, is she using this for like a little bit of clout? Maybe. I don't know.
Possibly,
But
but
she does
at least
seem
she
to
did
be-
say that she was sorry for Ariana, which Tom didn't say in his first apology. And
Two apologies.
his friends are not saying ever. They're talking about their bands. They're talking about the fucking restaurant. Like, there's someone who was cheated on and manipulated for 7 months. Let's focus on her and throw all of our sorries that way, not towards the scumbag.
Yeah. Oh, I love this one. I'm going to end with this one. I'll come back to it because I
All
got another one. We got two more. All right. From A. Wilson 712. How does VPR get anything but one more season out of this? Can the show recover?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can.
I think they just got more than one season out
Yeah.
of this one, buddy.
If Bravo knows how to do anything, it's how to turn trauma into TV.
Yeah.
So, yes, they will be back, and they'll be back in full force. I would bet you that tonight's episode of Vanderpump is the best episode they've ever had.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the ratings.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the ratings guy, so.
He is our resident ratings guy, but that brings me to this question. From Tori McCown, well done. Which franchise do you think Shooter would fit in best?
Oh, Jesus.
Now,
I'm going to let you answer that one.
Yeah, and then I'm going to ask you what you think. Show overall, Summer House. Shooter would be gold on Summer House. However, franchise, Real Housewives, I think you would be best. You make the most sense in Jersey because it's comfortable. It's a similar area. You know kind of how they operate. So Jersey would make the most sense. Now, where would he be best? Without a doubt, Beverly Hills. Because watching you have to interact with those women would be fucking great.
I fully agree, actually.
Yeah.
With everything that you said.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. Summer House would be good because there would be friends up there. Southern Charm is similar, but I think I would run to the high heavens away from like Shep and Austin. I would be losing my mind.
Yeah, no, I don't think you'd be a good
Jersey
fit there.
similarly, like people yelling, I'd be like, I can't deal with this anymore. Like I'm fucking out of here. Beverly Hills, it would be really funny to interact with all of them.
Yeah, I can just see
I
you
would be
like,
so chill,
and
I'd be playing tennis with Sutton.
And I can just see you behind the scenes, like manipulating little shit, like, oh, I heard you was talking shit, and then just walking away. Like, I can just see it now, like you're at a party, crushing beers, and you just like walk by, like Kyra's just like, yo, they're talking shit at the bar, and just like keep going. And then she's like, wait, what? And then you're like, what? I don't know. And then you're gone. Like that would be
Yeah.
Shooter, and then he'd be great. But I'm fucking exhausted. I think that at the same time, I feel at peace. I think I needed this episode.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like this is always, pretty much every week, this is always like leading up to, like, we got a lot of legwork and shit to do. We get done this, we coast for the rest of the week. It's nice and relaxing. This week was necessary.
This week was wildly necessary because we had a lot of opinions.
We got them all out.
We did. because I think the live allowed us to formulate our opinions. This allowed us to dive deeper into said opinions.
Yeah, we've been busy on social media. We had you do a little wellness check with Steele on Saturday. We had our live Monday. We did our live with Zach today. We had this. So we're good. I feel like we've got everything out.
Yep, I feel better.
And we're going to have a nice weekend, everyone.
Have a lovely weekend. Make sure that during the weekend you give us a follow on Instagram at Brav_Bros, on Twitter, Brav_Bros, and on TikTok at BravBros, and then YouTube, BravBros Podcast, Cameo, BravBros.
There you go.
And of course, we have a live show coming up. Come hang out with the bros. Come hang out with Zach. We got real Bravo Lebs coming in. We got some big names coming in. We're going to drop those in the upcoming weeks, but get a ticket. Come chill with the bros.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, I'm going to go sleep for like 36 hours.
I wish. I've got work tomorrow.
What a lurd.
Real.
What a lurd. A lurd.
Lurd.
A loser nerd.
Wow.
A lurd.
We're just merging
We're
phrases and words.
That's where our brains are. They're mush. We're just
Yeah, I
making
know.
up shit now.
No
but
way, shape, in hell.
you know what? Fuck it. BravBros are out of here.
See you next week.
Bye.